Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into another edition of Key Time Sports. It's Key Time coming back to talk about the Thursday night NBA slate of games. There were three key games that I looked at last night, and I'm going to cover them. There was a lot that happened in the Lakers Milwaukee Bucks game that I'm going to get into. But the very first game I'm going to get into is the Washington Wizards and the Detroit Pistons. I'm not going to cover the Wizards because I said that they would be one of the worst teams in the NBA. So I'm just going to fast forward right to the Pistons. Now, the Detroit Pistons last night, Tobias Harris had 14 points. Azur Thompson had 10 points. Tim Hardaway Jr. had 10 points. Jalen Duren had 18 points. Cade Cunningham had 38 points. Now, let me tell you, this game last night is just a small bump in the road because the Detroit Pistons are still going to make the playoffs. Like I said, this is a young, up and coming bunch. They have experienced growing pains with this lineup between last year and this year. Now, do I think that this is just a small bump in the road? I do. I do because when we get to the playoffs, nobody is going to be thinking about the Detroit Pistons losing to the Wizards late in the season and that was a thinking that that's a big problem for them going into the playoffs, which is not. Some nights you're gonna have bad shooting nights, and that's what with any team in the NBA. For the bench, Simone Fecchio, he had 9 points. Ronald Ronald Holland II had 3 points. Isaiah Stewart had 4 points. Dennis Schroeder had 11 points. And Malik Beasley had 8. Now, when we look at the NBA standings for the Eastern Conference, still, and I do mean still, the Detroit Pistons are at the number 6 spot. Now, from what I see right here, they have the same amount of wins that the Milwaukee Bucks have. But the only thing that is separating the Pistons from the fourth spot is they are a, a full game behind the Milwaukee Bucks. So the Detroit Pistons, look, rest of the season they are gonna be okay. They are gonna make it to the playoffs, but their remaining schedule, they have a couple of tough teams on their schedule. Now, tomorrow night, they have Oklahoma City. Then they have Cleveland. Then they have Minnesota, Oklahoma City again. April 5th, they have Memphis. And then they close out the season with the Milwaukee Bucks on April 11th and April 13th. So this is getting down to the nitty gritty time when it comes to playoff positioning. And if you are the Detroit Pistons, you do not want to lose your grip on the sixth spot in the Eastern Conference and be forced to have to play in a tournament game, a play-in tournament game. So you do not want to have to do that if you are the Detroit Pistons. So Detroit Pistons, they are gonna have a strong finish to the season. The next game I'm going to cover is the Los Angeles Lakers and the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, the Los Angeles Lakers last night, man, that was really a tough that was tough to see last night because you had Luka Doncic. He had a great game, 45 points. Austin Reeves had 28 points. Gabe Vincent, he had 6. Alex Lynn had 2. Alex Lynn, he was just terrible last night. And Dorian Finney-Smith had 5 points. Now, the Lakers, They have dropped from number 2 in the West to number 4 in the West. And what separates them from the second spot to the fourth spot is only 2 games. But let me tell you, the Grizzlies and the Nuggets, they both have 42 wins, and the Lakers have 44. So Memphis, if the Memphis Grizzlies lose a couple games, the Denver Nuggets lose a couple games, the Lakers could be right back in that second spot in no time. But they have some lingering problems. When is LeBron going to be back? Because from what I'm hearing, he might be back in the next half week to a week. So by the end of next week, he should be back, or by the following week, he should be back. So, the Los Angeles Lakers transition defense didn't do anything last night. Really didn't. And as far as shooting concern, shooting concern, the Milwaukee Bucks had a better shooting night than the Lakers. And as you can see in their team stats, you can see right here 3-point percentage. Bucks had a better 3-point percentage. And as far as defensive rebounds, the Milwaukee Bucks had more. Turnovers, the Lakers had 14, the Bucks had 12. One thing that I can say is the reason why the Bucks blew out the Lakers, it seemed like when it comes to these stats, it seems like everything was like tight, closely knit, but no, it wasn't. The bench points, bench production, that is what hurt the Lakers last night. You had a bench in the Milwaukee Bucks that put up 28 points off the bench, and the Lakers only had 8 points off the bench. So that is where the 20 that's where the 20-point deficit came from. Not strictly from the bench, but turnovers, not being able to defend, not being able to defend the basket consistently. Then you have Luka Doncic basically carrying the team with 45 points. And you didn't have the type of offensive cohesiveness that you needed to play against the Milwaukee Bucks. And that is why the Lakers, like I said, they are having trouble right now. So their remaining schedule, and let me tell you, their remaining schedule is not friendly to them. They have the Denver Nuggets tonight. Then they have the Phoenix Suns. I think that they can beat the Phoenix Suns Sunday. Then you have Denver on Wednesday, March 19th. Then Milwaukee. Then Indiana. Then Memphis. Houston on March 31st. Golden State, Oklahoma City, April 6th, April 8th. And that's pretty. And then you have April 11th, Houston, and then you have the the Portland Trailblazers to close out the season. So they have about 7 tough games left. The most is 8. They have 8 tough games left and 8 difficult games that those games can go either way. So we looking at a point where the Lakers could very well be, worst case scenario, they could be the 7th, or they could be in that 7th or 8th spot. Best case scenario is they go on a winning streak and be in the 2nd spot in the Western Conference come playoff time. Now, as far as the Milwaukee Bucks concerned, the Milwaukee Bucks right now, they are holding serve with that 4th spot. But like I said, when it comes to the Milwaukee Bucks, they are an average team, and they are not going to go very far in the playoffs because Cleveland and Boston is out there. Now, New York Knicks, they might give a team a run for its money, but we all know who is going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals come May. We already know that. So the next game I'm going to cover is the Sacramento Kings and Golden State Warriors. And let me tell you, before I get into the Warriors, the Sacramento Kings right now, they are at the ninth spot, tied. Well, they are tied at the ninth spot with the Dallas Mavericks at 33 wins. Now, when we see the Sacramento Kings at the start of the season, where did we all have them project? We had them projected as one of the top 6 teams in the West that could make some noise and that could potentially be a tough playoff contender. But right now, they do good if they could keep a spot in the play-in tournament bracket, because right now they are currently number 9 in the Western Conference. And you can see from their starters last night, DeMar DeRozan, 23 points. See, they have no consistency when it comes to their starters. DeMar DeRozan, 23 points. Keegan Murray, 6 points. Jonas Valanciunas, 5 points. Zach LaVine, 14 points. Malik Monk, 7 points. That's not being consistent when it comes to your starting lineup. And let me tell you, for the Kings bench, it doesn't get much better there. Trey Lyles, 11 points. Jack LaRivia, 13 points. Devin Carter, 5 points. Keon Ellis, 18 points. And there was a few other people. Isaac Jones, 2 points. Then you had Isaiah Crawford, Doug McDermott, and Markelle Fultz. Each scored 0 points. So they didn't even make a shot. So that is why I'm saying that the bench is not corresponding with the starters for the Sacramento Kings. And let's just be fair. The Sacramento Kings haven't been, that they've been an average team all season at best. That's what they have been, an average team. Now, the Golden State Warriors, in their last 14 games, they have won 13 of their last 14. Draymond, I'm gonna start with the Golden State Warriors starters. Draymond Green had a reminiscent moment last night. He scored 23 points. Jimmy Butler scored 6. Quentin Post had 10 points. Stephen Curry had 11 points. Moses Moody had 17 points. But last night was a historic night for Steph Curry. He made his 4,000th career three-pointer. My goodness, that is 12,000 points from the three-point line. And this is basically the person that has changed the NBA off of just the three-point shot. Because before Steph Curry came into the NBA, nobody was shooting 35, 40 attempts from 3 every night. But now, since Steph Curry, he has just historically, Steph Curry, he is up there with some of the all-time great shooters and all-time great scorers. Like I said, I was listening to Shaquille O'Neal last night on Inside the NBA on the NBA on TNT. He said that basically people now need to start putting Steph in that conversation as an all-time great, which we all know that he is an all-time great. But as far as greatest of all time, look, he is worthy of that. But how many people are going to put him on that? How many people are going to put him on that scale of greats right now? Now, he has 4 championships, so if we look at the championships, he's already got them. If we look at scoring accolades, he's already got them. If we look at how many points that he has scored in Madison Square Garden. He's got them. If we look at, let's say, if we look at his consistency year in and year out, he's got that. So, and let me tell you, the start of his career, he had injury problems with his ankles. But I am overjoyed that he was able to overcome those early career injuries and become one of the greatest shooters that we have seen on record. So now, back to the game last night. The Warriors bench. I like what I saw last night from the Warriors bench. You had Jonathan Kuminga. He had 18 points. Kevon Looney had 6 points. Trace Jackson Davis had 0 points. Gu Santos had 10 points. Buddy Hield had 16. Gary Payton had 11 points. Pat Spencer had 2 points. Now, as far as the Warriors, right now, they are at that 6th spot. They are at the 6th spot, currently at the 6th spot, but currently they are tied with the Minnesota Timberwolves at 6. But Golden State Warriors, I could see them going on a winning streak. I mean, they basically have went on a winning streak. They've won 12 of their last 14, and as far as trajectory concerned, they are the one team. They are the one team within the last 3 to 4 weeks that have had a good trajectory, and they are on the way to making the playoffs. And plus, they've won 6 straight. They've won 6 straight games along with the Minnesota Timberwolves. But let me tell you, if everything holds up, the Denver Nuggets and the Golden State Warriors, they would be playing in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah, they would be playing in the first round of playoffs. Now, we know that Denver, a couple nights ago, they had fatigue when it came to playing their opponent. Golden State, they are a small ball team. Nikola Jokic, he has been playing 35 to 40 minutes sometimes throughout the season. If I'm the Denver Nuggets, do you really want your best player to be playing 35 to 40 minutes during a 7-game series with the Golden State Warriors when they can easily, and I do mean easily, tire out teams because they are so small and they have so many accurate shooters? And plus, like I've been saying throughout the entirety of the season, the Denver Nuggets bench isn't the same as when they won the championship a couple years ago. So there are some issues that the Denver Nuggets need to address. But the Golden State Warriors, I'm going to say this, they're playing with house money right now because Golden State, if they get to the playoffs, they know that they are going to be underdogs no matter what, no matter who they play, whether it's the Memphis Grizzlies, Denver Nuggets, or Oklahoma City Thunder, whatever team. But the Golden State Warriors are going to be underdogs no matter what. Now, here's the current standings for the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. All of these teams that are in the top 10 of each conference, this is just going to fluctuate. It really is, because all of these teams, the 10 teams in the Eastern Conference, they are in the playoff conversation, and the teams in the Western Conference are in the playoff conversation. It's just a matter of what seed are they going to get. We don't even have to we don't even have to focus on the teams that are outside and that has a chance remotely, because they are going to lose no matter what. And with that, those are my reactions to last night's Thursday night slate of NBA games. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos, shows, and other content. We are doing an expansion on Instagram and YouTube, so please follow Key City Sports on Instagram, and please subscribe to Key Time Sports on YouTube so that you can get the latest in-depth analysis, sports news, and sports breaking news. And remember, one last thing, the key is always on time.